What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. So welcome back everyone to another video. I'm back as promised. It has been a little while, but this video has been one that I really needed to take my time in, make sure I got all the stuff down pat, because it is a video that I am absolutely ecstatic to make, and it's something that I think I probably should have covered a long time ago. It's going to be a super applicable video. It's stuff that kids my age can do, and a lot of people can do in their regular day life at any age pretty much. It's always a good starting point. Got a bit of a personal experience in this area, not experience, but like I've done some of the stuff, so I can share what it's been like for me. But without further ado, let's get into discussing your first business. That's right, you heard me, a business. It may sound like a bit of a strange word coming out of a 14-year-old's mouth, but it is something that I am all too much absolutely obsessed with. So as a young kid, I was always searching for ways that I could start to make money, because at a young age I was really brought to life about the fact of life and its expenses, and I always felt that in life the one thing I didn't want to have to worry about was money. I wanted to be able to focus on living my life to its fullest without those boundaries. So I was always inspired to start saving, start generating some money. As a kid you've always got that one toy you may want, so you find any way to wash up the car or do anything around the house to make that toy happen. So from a young age I've had a lot of ideas. Some of them aren't great and I don't hold much pride in them, but some of them I've learned a lot from that have brought me to this day today here. And I'm going to talk to you guys a bit about, the do's and don'ts, some things that I've noticed in my experience doing it, and what you can apply to your everyday life. So I think back to the earliest thing that I can possibly remember, and I think origami. Such a strange thing to start talking about, but I remember about 5 years ago, one of the things that I couldn't stop doing was origami. It was all that I would do with my time. For those of you who aren't familiar, it is literally folding paper to make certain shapes. And I think the first ever business experience I had was creating an origami gallery. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a second. So this here is actually something that I was doing just today, and if I go in and show you, you can see it's quite a nice little geometric shape here, but this is what I mean by origami. And actually, back here I have something that I sort of came up with, as a little cactus shape for my shelf. I don't know. All I'm saying is, my idea was, since I like this so much, and I love making origami, I've got my room full of made stuff, why don't I put them all around the house and I make a little gallery for them, and then I can charge people $1 coin to come through, have a look, and actually monetize that. And it was such a strange idea, but it was so much fun for me, because I'd, without realizing it, discovered some of the main principles of a business, and that is, do something that you love. So that's right, do something that you're actually interested in. I know a lot of people in life, they choose to do things that purely benefit them in money. You have all the sorts of different people in life who focus on rewards, people that focus on benefits. What you want to be doing is something that you're actually interested in, because you look at the research. Statistically, people that are in businesses that they enjoy, find interest in, and are motivated to be part of will succeed for much longer and for much higher, gains and overall success than those who are doing it purely for the financial benefit. Because if you don't care about it, you don't have one of the key things you need, which is motivation. If you've got no motivation, you've got nowhere to go. So this was something that I love doing. It was something that I felt like I could do normally and still create profit. I wasn't going out of my way to do anything. And it turned out pretty well. We'd have family over here and now, and they'd go around and they'd have a look, and of course your family are really supportive with all these sorts of things. And that was a really fun experience for me. And I learned all so much from it, even looking back now, because at the time I didn't really know much about it. I just knew that I was doing something I liked, and I was also getting some money for it. At the start of last year, when I started to get a little bit more serious about these sort of things, pretty much at the mark when this YouTube channel started to form. So, as you may remember, for the majority of last year, I was producing quite a lot of content. It was something that I'd found and really started, putting a lot of time into, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. As you guys know, I've been on here for what's over a year now, and it's been a great time. I'm just doing it because I love it and I want to help some people. But that's when I started to gather a bit more of a comprehensive view on the financial life and the business life. And so I looked into it. I did a lot of research, started to educate myself, because that's the first place you want to go. You want to educate yourself. And doing so sort of gave me some principles in a business that I started to adapt to anything that I choose to do. And a lot of you watching realized that I was very much into the precious metals industry. I was producing a lot of content surrounding gold and silver, and even some of the other metals that I'd look into a little bit. And that was just such an awesome part of my life. I was so passionate about it. It gave me content, it gave me interest, it gave me talking points. I had so much fun with precious metals, and it was something that, you know, had a lot of benefit for me. And so I thought, if I'm investing in these, if I'm doing deals on the Silver Stackers forum, or taking my trip into the city to see Bullion Now, it's all something that I like doing a lot. So why don't I try and monetize this? So it was brought to me by another friend in the precious metals community, who had an eBay selling store where she'd buy, what's it called? Collectible coins, those sort of proof silver coins, and you could get them, you know, at decent prices at certain places, buying them fresh from the mint. When they come out, they sell for huge prices. And I was like, I get to handle silver, I get to see cool coins, and I get to make a profit. It all seems to be great. So that was something I picked up, and I will say it wasn't a super sustainable thing for me, because it is, you know, it's a very time consuming area. You got to put in a lot of time in researching, finding good deals, you know, making sure you're right off the mark in buying these things. But it was still something that I really enjoyed, and I think that's the best part of it. So thanks to a lot of people that I knew about it, I really did have a good start to it, but it wasn't a long-lasting thing. It was probably about 2 months or so, which I turned that into a bit of a business for, and it helped. I did make some capital. It wasn't something that I'd like to continue though. So at that point I decided to sell everything in the business and just move on. It wasn't a large amount or anything, because I'm still a kid, so it was what I could manage. And that's when I moved to what has been an all too amazing of an experience. You can see a bit behind me on the shelves here, so I'm going to talk about that now. Yes, you see a lot of phone boxes, and surprisingly that is something that I've picked up for the entirety of this year. So earlier this year I had a really great friend of mine introduce me to the art of repairing phones. And it just seemed like a perfect match for me, because throughout my entire life I've been really into technology, and whenever my parents would get their new phones, I'd always know about all the new features and teach them how to use it before they even knew how to. So that was always something I loved doing. I was really into all those little cool gadgets and creating those sort of things, and that crossed perfectly well with another thing I loved doing, which was inventing things. I loved creating little machines and building things and fixing things around the house if there was any problems. I liked to build like the furniture we'd get if it was new. So this was just a perfect combination for me, and given I was, you know, advancing in my high school years, a thing that was certainly on my mind was the area of engineering, and in specific area, electrical engineering. So this sort of seemed perfect, and even though I'm not near to VCE necessarily, it was something that I was considering, and it all lined up really well. And so it was in January that I started, you know, buying my first phones, doing my first repairs, and it all just continued to grow and grow, and it's just been an amazing experience. And that's definitely given me a lot to think about and a lot to work with and a lot to talk about. So this is going to help me for sure in telling you guys some of the other key do's and don'ts in the area of starting your own business before you're allowed to work. So it's now, the countdown's on, I'm nearly able to get a job, but before that, it all felt like a really antagonizing wait, you know, and I'm still in that area, you know, I'm still waiting, but you've got to start to think about things that you want to do to create an income before you're allowed to work, because there are legal ages set for starting to work at a shop or a retail outlet or anything like that. So you've got the space to take it in on your own hands. You've got to come up with an idea. I know the stereotypical one for a kid is a lemonade stand. That's what a lot of people do, or it's candles, or I don't know, weird things, dog toys. I know a lot of people make homemade dog toys. You got to come up with an idea, but it's got to be something you care about. Obviously, I've talked about that a lot. I talked about how I love technology and gadgets and inventing and engineering and fixing things, so this was just a perfect area for me. So I had the interest, I still have plenty of interest in the area. So that's my step number one, is find something you like to do. That's going to help you feel that motivation you need to keep doing the job, and it will make it all the more enjoyable. For me, I'm surprised I even get paid for this because I love it so much. I would do this for free. I like it so much, and that's when you know you're in the right place, because if it doesn't feel like you're working, you're in a golden spot. We have to get a little bit more technical for a second and think about number two, which is are you actually able to make a profit? So a lot of businesses, they think, oh, I've got this amazing idea. I'll make this, I'll sell it, and I'll make money. You know, I'll get money from it. If I'm spending all this money, but I'm making all these things, and I'm getting $5 a product, how much money am I gonna have? But the main thing is to think, how much money are you actually making? Are you going to be turning a profit? Are you going to be breaking even? Or are you losing money? Because at first it may seem all too amazing when you're getting $5 sales, $10 sales from everybody. But are you actually making money? Because I know a lot of people that have harnessed the use of household materials to start their businesses with a little bit of store-bought stuff. So it costs them maybe $1 for a $5 product. But then when they run out of those household materials, they have to start buying those. And before they knew it, they were making a $6 product and selling it for $5. And it's not always possible to up your prices because sometimes things aren't just worth that much. So a really important thing is to consider the profit margin. Are you going to make money? Because even though it may be a great idea and you may love doing it, you got to be able to make some money, because if you're losing money, then that's not a great business at all. Although I will say, if you're not making money, but you have a great idea, you really want to do it, start to think about how you can make money. Is there something you can do? Is there a new place you can go to buy your stuff and your resources? Is there a place you can sell it for more? How can I make this a profitable business? Once you know how you can start making money and you've got a good idea and you like it, then you start to look at a real business. Now, my final and third part of feedback in improving a business is to really keep it straightforward. You need to make sure everything is written down. Every time you buy something, write down what you bought, how much, where you bought it, who you bought it from, and when you bought it. Make sure you're tracking everything around your business. Create a budget. Say, okay, for me, in my phone example, I bought this phone. It's an iPhone 10. I paid this much for it. It's going to cost me this much to repair it. This is where I bought both the repair parts and the phone from. This is when I sold it. This is who I sold it to. This is how much I got. This is how many fees I paid. I had to pay shipping. I've had to pay repair costs. How much am I making? Write it all down. And then once you've got it all spread out in a Excel spreadsheet, or if you're writing it down in a book, you see it all in front of you. It's all clearly written. So you never have to question, oh, how much did I make on that? Oh, I don't remember what I paid for it. How much did it cost me to fix it? The shipping, what? You've got to make sure you're on top of every single fee and expense and cost and profit you're making. And once you have everything written down, you're good. Because provided you can see everything, even if you aren't turning a profit, you can see that. You know you're not making money. If you have no idea that you're making money or you're not making money, how are you going to know to move forward or move backwards? If you don't have stuff written out, written clear for you, you can't really continue with your business. And that would be a real shame. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now, guys. Those are my 3 top tips when starting your first business. And don't worry, there will be plenty more content to come out with this, because even though I may be ready to get a new job, if this phone stuff keeps going, who knows, I'm probably going to continue it as my main source of income, or perhaps just my side source. You have to consider everything. So without further ado, guys, I think I'll wrap it up for now. Please let me know if this was helpful, if there's anything else you want me to include or talk about. If you want me to look at anything for a video idea, I'll take anything. I always love the awesome support in the comments. I love you guys. Thank you for another great experience, and until next time, goodbye.